Times have been tough for the Golden State Warriors, especially since they bid farewell to Curry. Many speculated that with their star player gone, they would end up losing, but that's not the case. In fact, it looks like the team is learning how to get past the hurdle and succeed on their own. Today, we're talking about how the Warriors are learning how to win without Steph Curry. Stay tuned for all of this, starting with Warriors moving forward without Curry. The Golden State Warriors will be without Steph Curry for a while, but they seem to be doing just fine without him. The Warriors won big over the Raptors thanks to Jordan Poole's 43 points. Draymond Green saw the victory against the Raptors as a model for future victories for the Warriors. Green said it lays forth a plan of action. The team knows what they're up against when it comes to playing the game. They have played fantastic basketball, but you can't expect every game to end with us scoring 100 points. You'll get more shooting opportunities if you're a good basketball player. However, to a certain extent, Draymond Green is right. In contrast, the Warriors' victory against the struggling Toronto Raptors was largely due to a masterful effort by Jordan Poole. The Golden State Warriors will be facing off against far more formidable opponents than the Toronto Raptors in 5 of their next 6 games. The hot New York Knicks are up next, followed by the hot Brooklyn Nets, and finally the red-hot Memphis Grizzlies. Things won't lighten up much until the 27th of December when they play the Charlotte Hornets. A 2-2 record during that time would be important for the Warriors, whose top priority right now is keeping afloat without Steph Curry in the lineup. Let's look at an analysis of player effects. Without Curry, the Warriors are predicted to win 38 games by FATS. Analysis based on total points awarded bonus points toward the target of 50 victories. So what gives here? How come there's a difference of 12 wins? Although some analyses are far more thorough than others, they still can't control for every possible confounding variable. The former disregards the enhanced team bonding that would develop if players were required to wear uniforms together for extended periods of time. The second method downplays the often significant impacts that come from certain lineup combinations. The true answer to the original question is probably somewhere in the middle. However, the good influence Curry has on his teammates may put the Dubs' realistic expectations for wins without Curry closer to 38. The following graphs demonstrate how Golden State's core rotation players perform with and without their normal starting point guard, with the caveat that we are dealing with several tiny sample sizes. First up is a player's true shooting percentage, which considers their efficiency from the field, three-point range, and the free throw line. Then comes individual offense rating. Next, I'll look at each individual's defense. Only Harrison Barnes and Festus Ezeli improve their shooting accuracy when Curry is not on the court with them. In terms of offensive rating, they are on par with the rest of the Warriors, since everyone improves when partnered with the league's reigning MVP. The same may be said for the defensive rating. While most of Curry's teammates might benefit from a better defender, even an average one like Curry, who creates steals and forces his mark into favorable situations, is still helpful. For once, Draymond Green is the lone survivor who thrives when left to his own devices. The 50-win estimate ignores almost all of this, and most of these factors are very detrimental. Graphics like those above don't reflect reality, since the rest of the Warriors aren't getting any help without Curry. Since the unanticipated chemistry impacts won't hurt the Bay Area reps, the 38-win estimate might be correct or represent the floor for this squad. We're probably looking at a team that can win between 40 and 45 games even without Curry playing a single minute, but that number is subject to some variation. Given that the Dubs should still aim for 73 victories, is it too soon to award this point guard the Maurice Podoloff Trophy? What's more, Steph Curry saved struggling Draymond Green from being murdered in NBA Finals. It's safe to say that Draymond Green's trash talk would have escalated had it not been for Steph Curry's monstrous 43-point effort against the Boston Celtics in Game 4 of the 2022 NBA Finals. Green described the nasty reception he received from Celtics supporters at TD Garden on a recent episode of Uninterrupted's Throwing Bones, and how Curry silencing the crowd prevented him from getting murdered by the opposition fandom for the rest of the series. At Game 3, I was effing rattled, Green admitted. I heard everything you could possibly hear in that arena. He talked about how he had been booed in every arena in the NBA, but this was something entirely different. Going into Game 4 with a 2-1 disadvantage, Green stated he needed to come in and steady himself. He wanted to acknowledge the greatest of all time, GOAT Steph Curry, saying that he played below his normal standards in Game 4, but managed to pull himself together for a better performance overall. Eventually, Curry picked him up and carried him. For Green, the whole point of the act was to avoid his own death. They were behind in the fourth game, and he would not allow them to lose. lose. If they had lost, he would have been killed. Green has said that the reaction he received from the opposition audience was unprecedented and that he had been the target of racist taunts from Celtics supporters. As the series progressed, Green found his footing and finished strong, helping Golden State win its 4th title in 8 seasons despite being benched towards the end of Game 4. Not to mention, the Warriors were struggling because of Curry's injury. Stephen Curry sat in his locker in Indianapolis, left arm dangling, immobility, for about 30 minutes after the Warriors fell to 213 on the road. The trainers applied a large ice pack on the top and back of his damaged shoulder. The Golden State Warriors situation, which was already precarious, had worsened. Against the Indiana Pacers, Curry had 38 points on 19 shots at the conclusion of the 3rd quarter. He had exerted himself so hard that he waited until halftime to go back to the locker room and recover. In spite of his 27 points, his team was 20 points behind. Quickly gaining ground in the 3rd quarter, Curry helped lead the charge. By starting Jonathan Kuminga instead of Kevon Looney, the Warriors were able to adopt a smaller, quicker, and more dispersed assault, reducing the Pacers' 20-point advantage to just 5 points in a little over 6 minutes. After scoring 11 points in the 4th and 38 for the game, Curry lunged in on a drive by Jalen Smith and grabbed the whole ball, sending the Warriors' season down another uncertain path. Suddenly, Curry's left shoulder began to hurt. He reached for it, collapsed away from the action, and then walked slowly toward the scorer's table. And when the Warriors called timeout, the bench, Curry and Rick Celebrini, their chief medical decision-maker, proceeded to the locker room after a quick talk with the team's director of medical services, Drew Yoder, who verified the worrying pain. Following up, it was a sad sight, as everyone who has viewed the clip may verify Curry doesn't move his left arm at any point. After the game, when Curry was walking about the locker room before and after icing it, it remained in that position. It was said that he would have an MRI, and then he'll make the trip to Philadelphia with the rest of the squad. The results of the test will give them a more accurate estimate of how long they will be out, but the general consensus among the team's supporters after the game was that the injury would need a few games missed, at the very least. Not to forget, the Warriors might be in trouble as another contract is expiring. According to ESPN's reporting, Bob Myers, the president of basketball operations for the Golden State Warriors and the man responsible for the team's 4 NBA titles in the previous 8 years, is nearing the final months of his contract and has yet to sign a new one. According to our sources, discussions between Golden State ownership and Myers, a 2-time NBA Executive of the Year, have stalled on a new deal. According to our sources, Myers' contract will likely be up for renewal at the end of June. "My entire focus is on the season and the team," Myers told ESPN on Saturday, declining to discuss his status further. "We love Bob and hope he is here for a long time," Golden State owner and CEO Joe Lacob told ESPN. Steve Kerr, the Warriors' 4-time championship coach who still has 2 years remaining on his deal, has reportedly been approached about an extension. Since Kerr's contract has more time remaining than Myers, the team is under less pressure to agree. Lastly, more details on persuading Myers. With the Warriors already under pressure to make roster cuts to prepare for next season's anticipated $500 million payroll and luxury tax bill, going for Myers, one of the most accomplished and highly regarded team executives in professional sports, has added an extra layer of urgency to the Warriors' efforts to make that happen. Since he was a kid, Bay Area native Myers has been in touch with Lacob, Kerr, and superstar players like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, among others. The parties still have a few months to come to terms, but Myers' situation without a new pact is unusual. Masai Ujiri, president of the Toronto Raptors and a fellow championship-level executive, did have the last weeks of his contract expire before signing a new one in 2021. Except for Curry's arrival before his own, the draft, trades, and free agency signings that have shaped one of the league's contemporary dynasties have all occurred under Myers' watch, since he was recruited as an assistant general manager in 2011. While Kerr is signed through the 2023-24 season, many of his contemporaries with comparable contracts have recently accepted extensions. These players include Monty Williams of Phoenix, Taylor Jenkins of Memphis, and Billy Donovan of Chicago. That's a wrap for this video. So what do you think of the Warriors without Steph Curry? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.